Welcome back, everybody, to the Educational AD Podcast and another episode of the Monday Huddle. We're going to be right back with this week's Monday Huddle topic, but as always, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors. If you're new to the podcast, just take 3 minutes. These are all great companies. You should really be checking them out to add to your menu in athletic administration. So listen to our shout outs, then listen to our Monday Huddle. Then go and visit these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Sideline Interactive indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. You can schedule a live web demo to see all their products in action. You've heard me say many times, probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. We used it for home games, of course, but we also used it for pep rallies, for signing ceremonies. Their products are tremendously versatile, and their customer service just outstanding. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that live web demo today. We also want to say thank you to Huddle. You know, as a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but when I became an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches, all of our coaches, just love the platform. Our students love the videos. Our parents love the streaming, but there's a lot more. Go to huddle.com, join the 100 million fans, and turn your school into a Huddle school. That's huddle.com. Let's also say thanks to Home Campus. Scheduling, rosters, results, facilities. Home Campus does all of these things and more. Does it better, does it faster than the other platforms. Did I mention athletic clearance and eligibility? That one is a game changer. Go to homecampus.com. That's it, homecampus.com. We want to thank Beacon Creative and Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Now, Wall of Fame has been helping schools bring their legacy to life for over a decade, but Beacon Creative takes it to a whole new level. Beacon is a content creation platform that's going to take your data, your stories, your history, and come up with compelling narratives that you can then post on social media. You don't even have to lift a creative finger. Go to Beacon and check them out. Actually, I want you to email John Townsend, and you can do that at John, John, at beaconwalloffame.com. Check them out today, Beacon Creative and Vital Signs Wall of Fame. It's a winning team. Let's say thanks to Gipper. Go to Gipper.com and let them turn your school into a social media marketing destination. It's a platform that allows any athletic department to look their best without spending extra time or extra money. It's used and trusted by over 20,000 programs and school districts, and it's so easy, even I can do it. Go to Gipper.com to get started. That's Gipper.com. We also want to thank Hometown for their support. You know, Hometown continues to be a leader beyond digital ticketing, which they're still the number one digital ticketing provider. How about things like fee-free fundraising, athletic website construction? Their list goes on and on. Whether you're an athletic director, a principal, even a head coach, Hometown is going to show you how to save time, how to raise more money, and how to bring your entire community together. You'll find it all at hometown.com. We also want to say thank you to Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Now, I didn't get my master's through the Ohio program, but guess what? My assistant athletic director did, along with thousands of others, and it was a great experience. And while they were earning their master's degree, they also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Let's also say thanks to Booster Hub. Booster Hub is the #1 Booster Club software program, and it's the platform your boosters need. It's the platform they deserve. Sponsorship payments, meal fees, concession sales, all of this goes through their secure system. Volunteer signups, volunteer changes, nothing falls through the cracks, and everything stays strong. Booster Hub is going to handle everything. Give your boosters that platform that they deserve. Go to boosterhub.com. And we'd like to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. You know, in my school, we use surveys for everything. Kids, coaches, even parents. And the information that came back on these surveys, almost always over the top positive, and it'll be the same for you. We also got to hear from our squeaky wheel parents, but the surveys allowed us to find out their concerns, usually address them before they turned into something big. But going back to that positive data, incredibly valuable, especially when you're visiting with a frustrated parent, sometimes your principal, sometimes even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's Athletic Surveys, and don't forget to mention you heard about it on the Educational AD podcast. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another Monday Huddle segment. Recently, we've seen a lot of high-profile coaches, usually it's been around basketball, college basketball, go through a frustrating experience with that post-game press conference. Now, I know for high school, usually the locker room or the interview area is not overrun with press. Sometimes we're struggling just to get our games covered. But watching these coaches, in the spotlight, have a meltdown, it's just, I feel bad for them, but at the same time, I'm wondering, boy, is this happening at the high school level too? So this week's Monday Huddle is going to talk about how to prevent that press conference meltdown for athletic directors as well as coaches. So if you've been like me, if you watch the news, if you watch Sports Center, we've seen this repeated too often. It's a tough loss. Maybe the locker room is tense. The coach is certainly frustrated, and then suddenly they're thrust in front of a microphone. We've watched these post-game press conferences, spiral into events where I think the coach and definitely the AD are going, wow, I think we probably could have done a better job. Coaches are they're questioning, the effort of their teams. They're calling their players soft, saying the players don't care, saying they don't deserve to wear the jersey. And hey, these are players that you recruited, coach. So I think if we take a step back and just, ask ourselves, hey, it's a highly competitive situation. These coaches, there's a lot of money at stake. Jobs are at stake, more so at the college level than the high school. They're competitive. They want to win. They're tired. They're overworked. And they've got pressure from boosters, alumni, social media, certainly their contract and the expectations of the university. And in a raw moment, oftentimes emotion gets ahead of good judgment. As ADs, we shouldn't be criticizing. We should be building systems that help make those meltdowns less likely to happen. And what I'm going to do is today share 5 proactive strategies that we as athletic directors can implement in our own systems to protect our coaches, our student athletes, our programs, and hey, protect ourselves too. Step number 1, make it normal to have an emotional debrief before that public debrief, even if they're just talking to the local newspaper and the local reporter. Okay, after that tough loss, adrenaline is still running high. Perspective is limited. We've got those blinders on. And yet sometimes 5-10 minutes, coaches are expected to step in front of cameras and tape recorders, and that's a dangerous window. One of the simplest preventative strategies that an AD can implement is structure. Make this a consistent post-game plan. Head to the locker room for a debrief. Now, maybe that's real quick with the team. Maybe that's with you as the AD. Build in a cooling off period. If you have a sports information director, if you have media people, maybe you're a big high school, those individuals should be involved in those post-game meetings. After you've had that 5 to 10 minutes cool down period, then go out and talk to the media. That 10 minutes can make a massive difference. And as the clock continues to move forward post game, have coaches let coaches have their own 24-hour public mindset. You're not going to call out individuals. Let's praise in public, correct in private. You're not going to question character. There's no emotionally charged absolutes. And you're not being inauthentic. You're simply using good leadership presence. We prepare athletes for game speed. As ADs, let's prepare coaches for microphone speed. So take that time. Have a built-in post-game cool-down period. Number 2, provide some kind of media and messaging training before you see this meltdown. We will talk to our athletes about how to handle the media. How do we do that with coaches? A modern press conference. And again, I understand college is different than high school, but it's not just, let's say real reporters. It can be Billy or Sally with their own cell phone. And so there's clips, it's posted, it's retitled, and can go viral in minutes. And a comment that a coach meant sincerely can be edited and turn into a headline about team dysfunction. So if you have a communications department, if you have a communications pro at your school, okay, partner with them to meet with your coaches, even meet with the athletes to have some media refreshers, how to redirect a loaded question. Everybody thinks they're 60 Minutes now or Pablo Torre, and they want to have an investigative post-game interview. Help your coaches correct without criticizing. And of course, there's an urgency to it, but make sure they're not attacking the character of their players. Give them language tools. Instead of saying the players don't care, they don't care. Okay. Teach them to say, we have to learn how to respond with more consistency, or we have to be more mature. Sometimes that goes for the coaches too. Okay. Instead of saying players are, they're soft, they're too soft. Say, we need to grow in our resilience. We need to become more competitive. We need to become even tougher. I love that word, toughness. Toughness. You need toughness in life. It's the same message, but it's a different leadership tone. You're not throwing the kids under the bus. Remember, in college, you recruited those kids. In high school, hey, you had tryouts, you kept those kids. Preparation is going to prevent regret from that meltdown press conference. Number 3, I already mentioned praise in public, correct in private. Make sure you address accountability internally. Public criticism sometimes can signal a deeper issue. The coach might feel unheard, and the coach feels they've been saying the same thing for weeks with no response from the team. Frustration is going to build. As athletic directors, okay, we can help our coaches out. Check in weekly. How are you holding the players accountable? Are your leadership structures and leadership activities working? I'm sure many of you already have these in place, but make sure you are encouraging player leadership councils. Make sure that there are defined team standards. Are we measuring accountability? Are you measuring toughness? Our coach, used to measure toughness by offensive rebounds. Have a consequence system in place when it's needed. We want accountability to be part of the program. We want to live inside the program. We don't want it to be something that spills outside. This public frustration is often a symptom of private systems that need reinforcement. And number 4, as an AD, create a culture where your coaches can vent safely. Coaching is emotional, absolutely. And, we want our coaches to be competitive, and we understand, losing hurts, it stings. And when our players underperform, it's frustrating. And hopefully coaches can see, hey, that's a reflection on me as a coach. But if a coach doesn't have a safe outlet, that microphone can become the outlet. And as ADs, we should be that very first call. Build trust so coaches know they can unload in your office. They can express their frustration privately, and you're not going to be writing it down in a note. Oh, geez, coach really came in and blew up today. We don't want them blowing up at you, but let them feel that they can say, geez, I'm almost at a breaking point without fear of judgment or repercussion. Hopefully, if you've got a coach that's near the breaking point, you're working as an AD to get them away from that, to find some solutions. Sometimes you can prevent a meltdown just by asking, hey, coach, how's it going? How you doing right now? Okay? Leadership requires emotional stamina, and that's for the coach and the AD. And we have to invest in the emotional health of our coaches, not just celebrate or indict their win-loss record. And finally, number 5, reinforce the identity of education-based athletics. We want to win, but hopefully we're teaching and valuing larger lessons at every level, even Division I. The mission still includes student development. When we use language, they're soft, they don't care, they don't deserve to wear the jersey, that becomes dehumanizing, and we're drifting away from our mission of student development. It's not about being soft, it's about being aligned. And as ADs, we can consistently reinforce. We coach behaviors, okay, not how many rebounds they got. We correct performance, not identity. And we're going to challenge effort, absolutely, but not their humanity. Players can lack execution. They can lack consistency. They can lack maturity. But we're never going to strip away their dignity. When that expectation is being clearly articulated in hiring conversations, in evaluations, in culture building meetings, it's part of that program's DNA. Okay? A forward-thinking approach is pre-crisis planning. Okay? The best ADs don't react to controversies, they prevent them. If you don't already have them, consider implementing that post-game communication buffer. Have a document, a post-game communication guideline. Maybe role play some scenarios with your coaches, even with the players. Crisis simulations have great value with communication staff. And if needed, have a peer mentorship between a veteran coach or a younger coach, or a coach that maybe it's a young coach that handles that post-game very well. We rehearse end of the game plays. Why not rehearse end of the game messaging and managing? Okay? And let's remember that camera captures maybe 30 seconds or a minute. It doesn't capture the hours and hours of preparation that led to that game. The coaches that have had those public meltdowns, I know that they deeply care about their teams. And the issue isn't their passion, it's just making sure they're channeling it productively. Our role as ADs is not to have our thumb on them and suppress their intensity. It's to shape it and help direct it. Okay? So the final challenge, this coming week, take at least one proactive step. Have a media refresher. Review that post-game schedule. Make sure you're checking in on those leadership councils with the players. And make sure you ask your coaches, okay, hey, if we lost a tough one tomorrow, how would you represent the program publicly? Because here's the truth. Okay? Press conferences aren't just about the game that ended. They're about the culture that's being revealed. Culture is not built in front of a microphone. It's built long before it. As ADs, let's lead in a way that protects our coaches, supports our athletes, and strengthens our school. That's proactive leadership. That's sustainable leadership. And that's what our programs, our kids, and yes, our coaches deserve. Hope everybody has a great week. Thanks as always for listening to the Educational AD Podcast. Thanks for continuing to be a leader. And if you've enjoyed this segment, please share it with others. And if you have not been a guest on this podcast, let's change that and get you scheduled. I do just about everything through email. So please shoot me an email at jakestouchdown, all one word, jakestouchdown @gmail.com, or you can call me or text me at 305-218-1325. Thanks a lot. Hope you have a great day. We'll see you next time on the podcast.